Welcome to Infinity Reviews. Oh no! Oh my god! No, no way! Oh, it's Saber Oh, look at these fights!
Alrighty guys, today I had a chance to go see Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, possibly the final film in the Mission Impossible franchise. And I am someone who likes this franchise. I think out of all of them, Fallout is obviously my favorite Mission Impossible movie. After that, it definitely comes Rogue Nation. And when Dead Reckoning came out, I was excited for it because we were coming off Fallout. But Dead Reckoning, I actually didn't enjoy that movie. I thought, I went into it, I'm like, this, I didn't like that. I did not really like Dead Reckoning. So, going into the Final Reckoning, I'm like, listen, they're doing this whole story of AI, where all oh, the AI is trying to destroy the world. And, it didn't really, in the last movie, it didn't really set it up where it's like, oh, it's this huge threat. In here, they say, hey, this AI is, end of the world type, computer. It's gonna, kill everything. It's gonna launch missiles and kill everyone. And I'm like, damn, it felt like this time, this is when the stakes were the highest. The stakes were so high. And, of course, Tom Cruise is just great. Tom Cruise makes this franchise. I think without Tom Cruise, this is not a franchise. And, going into it, I'm like, okay, what is the crazy stunts we're going to see? Now, listen, everyone's going to be talking about, oh, the plane stunt. That's what they've been showing and everything. But the stunts that surprised me and was the most nerve-wracking was that in the second act, there is a water scene, a diving scene. And, of course, I've scuba dived before. And him doing all those things, I'm like, oh my god, that's the scariest thing ever. He literally has to deep dive down to go and find the submarine. I'm not gonna do any spoilers here because I want you to go see the movie, but he has to go down and find the submarine and get the special code to stop the AI. And it's I would say it's it felt like a 30 to 40 minute sequence of him trying to get to the submarine, and it was really really good. It's going to go down to probably one of my favorite, stunts and sequences in the Mission Impossible franchise. I think it's absolutely so great. And, that's what I'm going to take away from the movie. That one scene, that one sequence is going to be that's what I'm going to remember from the movie. That was my favorite. Now, this is not going to be in people's top Mission Impossible movies of all time. Listen, there are faults. The one fault I'll have for it, the movie's way too long. The movie is way too damn long. This movie is almost 3 hours long. And I'm watching this, I'm like, there's a lot of stuff in here we could have cut out. For me, there were some storylines that I didn't really want. There's some stuff, with Tom Cruise being captured. He gets captured. And he has to go to the CIA or wherever that building was, some bunker. I can't remember where it was. But, there's all these characters introduced. I'm like, okay, why are we introducing these characters? Why do we need to introduce the Secretary of Defense? Why is Nick Offerman here? Listen, Nick Offerman's in this movie, and I'll just say, he didn't need to be in the movie. His role in the movie did not have to be in here. Sure, I love Nick Offerman, but I'm like, why is he in here? That was one of the takeaways. The movie is too long. The movie's way too long. They really should have. This should have been maybe a 2 hour, 30-minute movie. I would say they could have cut 30 to 20 minutes of the film. But I'm not gonna say I hate it because I did like the movie. And one of the ones I was also worried about something else. They killed off Rebecca Ferguson's Issa in the last movie. And I was like, damn, she was one of my favorite characters. And I'm like, how are they, gonna run that dynamic now? Because her and Tom Cruise and Rick Ferguson had such great chemistry together. I absolutely love their chemistry in all those other Mission Impossible movies. And, I'm like, are they gonna get someone to replace her? And, what's the team gonna be looking at here? I enjoyed the team because Haley Atwell's character kind of became, into that spot that, Rebecca Ferguson was in, In a way, it kind of felt like she was the new, I'm going to say it, like the new Ethan Hunt girl. I don't know what you call it, the new love interest, in a way, because they had, like, it looks like they had some type of connection in there. But, I still, Rebecca Ferguson, her, like, I'll still go back to Rogue Nation and her in that yellow dress. Like, I'm like, listen, I was in love when I saw that for the first time. I think all of us fell in love with Rebecca Ferguson when we saw Rogue Nation and her in that yellow dress in the theater. Like, oh my god, she is a beautiful woman. Haley Atwell, of course, is beautiful as well. Everyone in this movie is beautiful. Like, you got a lot of good looking people in here. But yeah, in this movie, here's the basic plot. They're trying to, again, stop the AI. But, of course, Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt is on the run. He has the key to unlock to get the special code, like I said before. But he doesn't know where the submarine's located. So, the first half, kind of like second half of the movie, is trying to find this submarine so they can get the code to stop the AI. Because in 3 days, the AI is going to be able to access every single missile on Earth. And they're going to use that to launch over the Earth, killing a bunch of people, basically trying to enslave the human race, which was like a really big plot for a Mission Impossible movie. I'm like, damn, like, this is a pretty big plot. Like, a lot's going on here. And, of course, the team consists of Ethan Hunt, played by Tom Cruise. You got Haley Atwell in here as Grace. Palm Clementif comes back as character Paris, who we saw, in Dead Reckoning. And also, you have Simon Pegg as well. You always got to have Simon Pegg in there. Ving Rhames is back as Luther, and then you also have the other, agent Greg Tarzan as Davis, who was kind of like trying to catch Tom Cruise the last movie, Ethan Hunt to be more exact. And of course, you also have Angela Bassett coming back, and she is now playing the president, not the CIA director. And yeah, you also have other characters as well showing up as well. And of course, there are some deaths in the movie. I'm not going to talk about the deaths. There is one death in the beginning of the movie that I was not thinking was going to happen, and it did happen, and I was like, damn it. That's kind of sad. Like, that's a little bit sad. Like, I didn't want to lose that character. But yeah, that's all I'll say. If you've seen the movie, you've seen the movie. Now, I'm going to talk about more of the supporting cast right now. So, like, I already so let's go into Haley Atwell. Listen, I think Haley Atwell is a very underrated actress. I think she should be, one of the biggest names in Hollywood. She appeared in the Captain America movies almost a decade ago, guys. Like, literally a decade ago. And, like, I'm like, why didn't her career just take off after then? I thought I liked her in Dead Reckoning Part 1. I liked her. But, like, I wasn't like, I don't see her as the new, Ethan Hunt girl, the new love interest. In this movie, like, she's kicking ass. Like, she's no damsel in distress. She's kicking ass with Tom Cruise, She's, like, the expert thief. And, like, she's, like, one of the main reasons why the AI, spoiler alert, did not win. Like, we all knew the AI wasn't going to win. Like, we all knew. That's the point. We got to figure out how, it's part of the journey to figure out how they beat the AI. So, like, Haley Atwell, very much enjoying, I want to see her in more stuff. Listen, if, they want to do a new Mission Impossible movies, because this movie ends and there is still room for them if they wanted to do more, because I feel like the Mission Impossible franchise is a bit like the Bond franchise, where, like, you could do you could just keep doing Mission Impossible movies forever, but really it's Tom Cruise's vision and Chris McQuarrie's script and directing that really make these movies so enjoyable. So, like, I would be open for more. And then let's move on to the next character, Palm Clementif as Paris. Listen, I'm going to be honest. I think Palm Clementif has had a very hard time being successful outside of the MCU. That's it's very, very true. I think her first thing she did is she did Dead Reckoning. She did, Dead Reckoning. And, I thought the character was cool and she kicked ass, but, like, I was like, okay, but she really was just, like, the side villain in that movie. Here, I want to see this character more. Listen, I came out of Mission Impossible taking away that Palm Clementif's Paris is, like, my new favorite Mission Impossible character. Listen, Palm Clementif, as I said, has been struggling inside the MCU. She was in The Killer's Game, which I regard is the worst written movie I've ever seen in my life. Like, that movie was just unbearable to watch. And I'm like, will she be able to exceed? I think after watching her in this, she needs to do more action. Like, I want to see her more in action like movies because, first off, she's a beautiful woman. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Palm Clementif is absolutely beautiful. Like I'm watching this and I'm like, damn, like Tom Cruise has got two smoking hot babes next to him in Haley Atwell and Palm Clementif. Like, and like she kicks ass, and like, you know, there's like she's just kicking ass all over the place. And I'm like, listen, you know, we had the Killers game where like she was like kind of kicking ass, but not really. She becomes like a total badass action hero in here, which like I'm like, listen, like if they want to do a spin-off Mission Impossible, give me some more stuff with Palm Clementif, because first off, I would be down for it. So Palm Clementif, I think this is her first big success coming out of the MCU. I just believe that, seeing her in this, and like I want to see her again. I want to see her more, and possibly I want to see this character again. Now, the next character, of course, we got to talk about, who's been in this franchise possibly as long as Tom Cruise, is Simon Pegg's Benji. And, you know, Benji has always kind of grown in every single movie we have seen him. And, you know, he started off as kind of, you know, the guy in the chair who's guiding Ethan Hunt through his missions. And then he kind of turned like, oh, he can actually help in the field. But in this movie, they really like kind of make him the secondary leader of this IMF team. You know, he's the one, you know, when Ethan Hunt has to go off and like go find the submarine, he's like, listen, Benji, I need you to lead the team for me. I need you to guide these guys when I'm not here. He's like his right-hand man. And Benji does a great job being the leader. And like he's still that lovable hacker. But, you know, he becomes more of a leader. And like, I don't see a lot of those roles for Simon Pegg where he gets to kind of be like, hey, you know, I can be the lead in this movie. Like, I can lead this team. I can lead these people around. Like, that's what I really like. Seeing, like, you know, I just love the progression of Benji in each film. And then, of course, you know, let's talk about the villain, Isa Morales, Gabriel. Listen, like, this guy, you know, I remember the first thing I ever saw Isa Morales in was Titans as Deathstroke. And, you know, he wasn't particularly my favorite Deathstroke. Like, personally, like, I wasn't his biggest fan of his Deathstroke. I still prefer Manu Bennett's Deathstroke. But I was like, okay, you know, let's see him. Like, Dead Reckoning, you know, they kind of set the stage that him and Ethan have a very much complicated past. And, like, here, you know, he was a good villain. But, like, he became very much, you know, that diabolical mustache-twirling villain. Which kind of turned me off. And I was like, listen, you know, it's like, he in the plane scene, like, when Ethan's chasing him, he's like, wah, wah. I'm like, that's a little over the top, Issa. Like, come on, man. Like, dial it down a little bit. And, like, of course, you know, he is not really the villain in this movie. You know, he is abandoned by the AI, you know, where he is trying to now control the AI, just like everyone else in the world, where Tom Cruise, of course, Ethan Hunt, wants to destroy the AI because he cannot trust anyone else with this. And, you know, of course, you know, I just think he could have been I think the villain could have been better. Like, I thought he was very much more threatening in Dead Reckoning. And, like, I wasn't the biggest fan of Dead Reckoning. But here, you know, I think he was too mustache twirling. That was my problem. Like, he was like, I'm going to get the device and I'm going to destroy the world. Whoa! Like, I'm like, okay. It didn't seem real. It didn't really seem like it was really fitting in to the serious tone they were doing for this film. And, you know, that's kind of my look on the really main side characters. Listen, you know, there's a lot of actors in the movie. You know, you got characters like Tamal Tillman, of course, from Severance, which we've seen in the trailer. You got Angela Bassett, of course, coming back as now playing the president. You had Nick Offerman in here as well. You know, you had Holt McClaney, who, of course, you know, was recently in what's the name of the movie? The Amateur. And then, of course, Katie O'Brien, I was surprised, was in this movie as well. And, you know, another thing this movie does is it really does feel like the end of Mission Impossible, because it does so much. It's the first time watching a Mission Impossible movie where they're connecting all the other films. You know, there's references to MI1. There's references to MI2. There's very much a huge reference in this movie to Mission Impossible 3 and the MacGuffin in that movie, which is very, I think, you know, if, like, you don't need to watch those movies, like, sure, like, because they kind of explain the movie, like, if you haven't watched them. But, you know, you'll feel more like, oh, yeah, I remember watching that in MI1, MI2, and MI3, you know? Like, if you see those, like, it will be like, oh my god, like, that was the purpose the whole time. Like, they make connections that, like, everything that he has done, Ethan Hunt has done, has led to this. So, personally, my vote for this movie is I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I'm giving 8 out of 10 for this movie. I enjoyed it. I liked it better than Dead Reckoning, but I like it better than, like, MI1, MI2, and MI3, but, you know, I don't think it's as good as Rogue Nation. I don't think it's as good as Fallout. You know, I honestly would put it on the same level as Ghost Protocol. I think it's more in the Ghost Protocol Mission Impossible range. But what did you guys think about Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning? I personally enjoyed the movie. I don't know if it has the biggest rewatchability factor since it is almost 3 hours long. Leave comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.